thanks in large part to a furious rally from Jason Tatum during the last 4 minutes and change of Thursday's 95-86 win over the Philadelphia 76ers, the Boston Celtics are headed home for an Eastern Conference semifinals Game 7 for the second year in a row. Tatum was 1 of 14 from the field during the first 43 minutes of Game 6, but he drilled 4 game-changing threes in the final 5 minutes while Sixers stars Joel Embiid and James Harden wilted down the stretch. All three, plus Jaylen Brown, now have a chance to reset ahead of a crucial Game 7. And Bleacher Report's NBA staff has you covered with predictions on how it will go down. Even in victory during Game 6, the Celtics made it extremely difficult to trust them entering Game 7. "I'm going to do it anyway. Jason Tatum can't sleepwalk through the first 3 quarters forever, and I have to imagine Al Horford will make a wide-open triple eventually." Head coach Joe Mazzulla may need to be more conservative with Robert Williams III's minutes than he was in Game 6. The spacing didn't look great during those stretches, and while he pitched in as the helper and rotator defensively, he doesn't look like the same player, at least physically, on that end of the floor. Still, part of the Celtics' appeal lies in their struggles. Tatum turned in one of his worst performances ever through the first 3 quarters of Game 6. Horford suddenly looks his age. Boston got stripped on, like, every third drive to start the second half Thursday night. Derek White has stopped spitting fire, and, well, they still won. Not only did they win, but the Celtics initially built a 16-point lead. Squandering it wasn't pretty. Getting it back wasn't all that gorgeous, either. But they fended off the Sixers because they have the depth to ride out star player ruts and the defensive optionality to mix up, and, ultimately, juice up their defense on Joel Embiid and James Harden. Philly doesn't have as many buttons to push, as many counters to call upon. Detonations from Harden and Embiid can, like always, change everything. And it wouldn't be surprising, at all, if the Sixers won. But taking Game 7 on the road, against a team that remains deeper even as it condenses the rotation, is really friggin' hard. The Boston Celtics just beat the Philadelphia 76ers on the road in a potential closeout game, with Jason Tatum shooting a dismal 5 of 21 from the field. For much of the second half, that game seemed tailor-made for Philly. Yet the Sixers lost, and it's hard to imagine Tatum going 1 of 14 from the field over the first 43 minutes of Game 7. In front of their home crowd, Tatum will almost certainly shoot better. His true shooting percentage was almost 4 points higher in home games during the regular season. As the old adage goes, road players are typically better at home during the playoffs, too, though Boston's were fine in Game 6. The Celtics seemed to discover something in starting Robert Williams III. He and Horford started the bulk of Boston's games last season, but Joe Mazzulla was partial to a smaller group. Against Joel Embiid, it makes sense to go big, and Williams was a team-high plus 18 on Thursday. After a couple disappointing performances, everything seems to be lining up the way many anticipated before the series even started.